There seems to be a lot of confusion around the new 2024 tax brackets that were just released by the IRS and adjusted for inflation. So I went out and built a calculator to compare the 2023 tax brackets to the 2024 tax brackets, just so we could see exactly what the differences in those taxes are at every income level. So in this video, I'm going to start out by going through the tax brackets and the changes for 2024. Then I'm going to jump into the calculator. And then finally, I'm going to talk about two different ways that you can work to reduce your taxes and really put that into action right away. So let's go ahead and pull it up on the screen and go through this stuff together. So here are the tax brackets for 2024, and I have them right over the 2023 tax bracket so you could see those changes. Now from the last video, I added these increasing columns just so you can see exactly how much it increased. So for example, if you look at the 10% tax bracket, in 2023, it goes from 0 to 11,000. But for 2024, that top tax bracket for somebody that's filing as single goes up by $600. So I put plus 600 here. And you could see at each tax bracket for each filing status, you could see what those differences actually are. Now, these are the taxable income, not the amount of tax you're going to pay. Those are just the taxable dollars. And these brackets that are increasing seems to be where the confusion is because they're increasing for inflation. A lot of people think that they're paying more because of that increase, but that's not true. And if you look at it at the 10% bracket, it's now more dollars are in that 10% tax bracket. So I think you're going to see better when I show you this calculator in just a second. So let's go ahead and flip over to that. So here we go, comparing 2024 to 2023. We can choose our filing status and we can then put in our gross income, and it's going to automatically do the calculations and then show us those differences. So I have it automatically change. So the standard deduction will adjust to your filing status. Your total taxes and everything else will automatically get calculated here, but it will change from green to red if it means that you pay more in taxes. If it's green, it means you pay less in taxes. So starting with our standard deduction, that is increasing. Another way to think of this is tax-free income. So going from $27,700 up to $29,200 means that we're going to pay less in taxes because that amount is tax-free. So if I scroll down to here, another way to look at this comparison is each tax bracket. So the blue here is the standard deduction, which I said before is tax-free income. Then the next bracket's going to be at the 10% bracket. Because this is including more dollars at the 10% bracket, that means it's not going up to the next bracket. It's staying in that lower tax bracket. Again, that means we're going to be paying less in total taxes. So if we come back up to our tax calculator and I put in a different amount, let's say 150,000, we could see what that looks like, still paying less in total taxes. We could change the filing status to single. It's going to be the same thing. If we put in $250,000, we could see that it's still going to be paying less in taxes, which got me to thinking, is every single tax bracket going to be paying less in taxes? Well, by this time you could probably guess, but let me go ahead and show you our chart over here comparing 2024 to 2023. And I ran a ton of different income levels, and we can see that yes, you do pay less in total taxes because adjusting these numbers for inflation means the tax brackets increase at the same rate. So you can earn more money and pay less in total taxes. So even though these tax brackets were adjusted for inflation and we're going to pay less in total taxes at the same income level from 2023 to 2024, that's not going to make up for the amount that we're actually paying with the effects of inflation. So the two things that you're going to want to take a look at, if you're not already familiar with them, are tax credits and tax deductions. Now, there are a ton of each, but it's really important that you understand how these work. So a tax credit is going to reduce your total tax liability, where a tax deduction reduces your taxable income. So let me go back to these numbers so you can see what I'm talking about. So a tax deduction is going to reduce your taxable income. So in 2024, let's say that we're single, earning $100,000. Our taxable income then would be $85,400. A tax deduction would be something like putting a pre-tax dollar into your retirement plan at work, like a 401k. So let's say that for easy math, let's say that we put $400 into our 401k as a pre-tax contribution. That means our taxable income would drop to $85,000. Now, if we had a tax credit like the child tax credit, that is going to reduce our total tax. That's this number right here. So the child tax credit's up to $2,000. So in this example, if we did have a child and we applied for the child tax credit or applied it to our taxes, then that $13,841 would then drop to $11,841. And you might be wondering where you can learn more about your credits or your deductions and what you can actually do to reduce your taxes. Another great tool that I'll flip over, and you can see it right here, is the IRS Form W4 online estimator. So I just queued it up to the adjustments page so you can see what you can look for to reduce your taxes. So here's a list of those adjustments. And if you click on the question marks, it will bring you to the publications to explain in more in detail exactly what all of these deductions are. And if we flip over to the tax credits, same thing here, like the child tax credit that we just talked about. If you want to learn more about that, the child tax credit, you can look at the publication 972, and it has links to all of this stuff. This is the IRS Form W4, the online estimator. So it can help you with your obviously fill out your W4, but also figure out what credits and deductions that you might qualify for. So I'll show you another one down here. If you're thinking about maybe buying an electric vehicle, you can see it right down here, energy efficient vehicles. And you can look through those publications just by clicking on these question marks again and reading through the publications. And they're extremely informative. I use these things all the time. So again, retirement savings here. This is the retirement savers credit. So if you click on that, you can learn more about that. Educational tax credits, there's a few there. American Opportunity Tax Credit or the Lifetime Learning Credit right there. And again, just click on these question marks and it'll bring you to the publications. Really informative, because this is stuff that you could start to think about proactively. You know, how are you, if you're thinking about maybe buying a car and you're saying, well, what are the effects if I buy an electric vehicle on my taxes? And this is a great place to start to learn more about it and then run it through your IRS Form W4. This will also make sure or help you to make sure your withholdings are correct. So you don't have any tax surprises at the end of the year, and also that you're not going to get a huge refund. So if you only went through the basics of the taxes but didn't apply any of these tax credits and then got to tax time, applied the credits, then you could get a huge refund, which just is a free loan to the government. So get that money back in your pocket quicker. And even if you don't know what to do with that money or you're afraid that you're going to owe taxes, throw it in the bank at whatever interest rate they're giving you, because even if you have to pay it back at the end of the year, you're going to be a few percentage points ahead. So this is just one more tool that you can use to help control your taxes. So hopefully this gives you an idea of what you can do to plan to reduce your taxes in advance, start saving into your 401k, stuff like that. Now I'm going to have this calculator on our Discord channel, which is free for channel members. Link in the description at the bottom. It also the link to the Discord channel as well. So if you have any questions on this stuff, let me know in the comments down below. And if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and we'll see you on the next one.